custody. Their matter was postponed for the 23rd of February for further bail investigation. Scores of people have been picketing outside court, calling for the suspects to get a harsh punishment. Meanwhile, police say they are looking for a fourth suspect. Tando Hlingolo, Eyewitness News.
Staying in the courts, convicted child killer, Amber Lee Hughes is set to take the stand tomorrow to give evidence in sentencing proceedings. Hughes briefly appeared in the Johannesburg High Court this morning. The matter was postponed after the court concluded its questions to the first witness. The defense has requested more time to consult with other witnesses. Hughes was convicted of the rape and murder of 4-year-old Nada Jane Chalita, the daughter of her former partner. The child was assaulted and killed in 2023 after being left in the care of Hughes. Ndogozo Khumalo reports.
The court heard testimony regarding conditions at the Johannesburg Correctional Centre as part of its consideration of sentencing. The head of the female section at the centre, Daphne Ngesani Makubela, briefed the court on overcrowding and rehabilitation efforts.
The centre is built to accommodate only 711, which means it is obviously overcrowded. So our overcrowding percentage is 200.14%. So we try as a center by all means to provide the basic needs of our inmates, both sentenced and unsentenced.
Makubele added that should Hughes receive a life sentence, she would be placed in the maximum security section of the facility. Ndogozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
Despite President Cyril Ramaphosa giving an instruction for lifestyle audits to be conducted within the NPA 6 years ago, not one has been done. This is according to Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mamoloko Kubai. Speaking on 702 this morning, Kubai said she is expecting newly appointed NPA head Advocate Andy Mutibi to turn things around and prioritize lifestyle audits. Arun Singh reports.
There has been pushback from the NPA in conducting lifestyle audits on prosecutors, despite a directive being given by President Cyril Ramaphosa some 6 years ago. Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mamoloko Kubai says the incident she's come across during her time in office suggests there's an urgent need for lifestyle audits of prosecutors within the NPA.
The only way for me as a minister to have assurance that our prosecutors are not involved in wrongdoings is for them to subject themselves to lifestyle audit. Then as a minister, I can stand proudly and say, I have a clean NPA. Currently, I have doubts.
Kubai says she's raised her concerns of lifestyle audits with NPA head Advocate Andy Mutibi and is expecting that everyone within the structure be subjected to scrutiny. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
The Western Cape government has procured 20,000 vaccines to deal with the current foot and mouth disease outbreak. Yesterday, Premier Alan Winde oversaw the mass vaccination of free-roaming livestock. Winde says their campaign will focus on Makaza and Mfuleni for now. President Cyril Ramaphosa declared the outbreak a national state of disaster during the State of the Nation address last week. Winde says the vaccines will be used for both protection and preventative measures to curb the spread of the disease.
Days ago, we had our first case, immediately zoomed in. Our state vets just explained exactly the process. Vaccinate, contain. It has been in animals that are communal animals, so they move around quite a lot. So it's about how do we quarantine those animals.
Winde says the province will halt the auctioning of livestock for 21 days once receiving approval and gazetting is completed.
You can still auction online, but you're not going to have physical auctions and moving animals to auctions. We've also asked that we can now implement our permitting system. So any movement of animals, you have to have a full permit system. We already have now for the last 10 days roadblocks around the province.
And in India, a global artificial intelligence summit kicks off in New Delhi today. It will tackle big issues such as job disruption to child safety, but some attendees warned that the broad focus would diminish the chance of concrete commitments from world leaders. While demand for generative AI has turbocharged profits for many tech companies, anxiety is growing over the risks that it poses. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 5-day AI Impact Summit, which aims to declare a shared roadmap for global AI governance and collaboration. Gold is trading at $5,028.16 an ounce. The rand is at 15.97 to the dollar, 21.79 to the pound, 18.95 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.78 a barrel. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 26 degrees, while Cape Town is fine with light and variable winds and a high of 37 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. 3 suspects charged with the murder of an e-hailing driver have abandoned their bail application in the Pretoria Magistrates Court.
It's a very long one that forces you to cancel your anniversary dinner at the restaurant with the Michelin star chef and then work through the weekend only to arrive on Monday and be told that the client has decided to go in a different direction. Life taxes you. So invest tax-free from as little as 250 Rand per month.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors, as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising@dkms-africa.org to donate today.
Different sounds, different worlds.
Different artistic expressions, music, art, and fashion collide. Are you coming? Let's go to the place where the beat drops, the fashion pops, and the art rocks.
We're talking Focalistic, Daliwonga, Mafigi Zolo, Kurt Darren, Matlanga Doughboy, Zoe Mujija, Claire Johnston from Mango Groove, the Tswani Gospel Choir, and more. Mahindra Fusion Fest, Saturday 7th March, Sunbet Arena. Tickets on Ticketmaster now. See you there.
The stage, the lights, the crowd, everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with Events Liability Insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on Events Liability Insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
12:22 on the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener. On the WhatsApp line, Tutu says, why don't they ask the Nigerian government to repatriate him to Nigeria? I don't know, actually, the answer to that question. Afternoon, Mandy. Who would have shared the video on social media? This is just so barbaric and senseless. Yeah, I'm not sure. So it was on the dash cam from his vehicle. So I imagine it would have either been the police leaked it, or I'm not entirely sure. And then, hi Mandy, don't we have drivers? What's the hell is a Nigerian driver allowed to drive Uber while we have high numbers of unemployed youths? I can't drive Uber in Nigeria as a South African. Well, it's interesting. The family says that they don't believe it has anything to do with his nationality, and that this may have been a hijacking gone wrong or premeditated. For me, it's the motive. That's the big question here.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
Well, let's go to the Matlanga inquiry now, and Witness F. Witness F has done everything, it seems, in their power to avoid testifying at the Matlanga inquiry, court cases, applications. Now Witness F has been hospitalized, as Clement Manyatela says, allegedly. But Witness F has been hospitalized, which means the testimony of Witness F has been postponed. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, joining us now. Alpha, good afternoon to you. So what do we know? What actually happened today with Witness F?
Good morning. Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, when we were at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry this morning, the first thing that the evidence leaders, Advocate Matthew Chaskelson, mentioned was that he has received a medical record from Witness F, proving that he's allegedly in hospital and has been hospitalized. It's currently unclear what led him to be hospitalized, but we do know that according to the records that he submitted to the commission, he is in hospital. He was meant to testify today and tomorrow, and on Wednesday we're set to get a new witness, which is likely to be the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibia. So nothing much happened today. It was literally a postponement. He's set to return on the 16th of March, and the funny thing is that the 16th of March was initially meant to be the last day of the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. So this might mean that the commission might need a day or two extension, because he is scheduled to testify over 2 days. So he's back on the 16th, which happens to be the last day of the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry.
Just give us some context here. Remind us, who is Witness F?
Well, Witness F is a member of the South African Police Service. He's attached to the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit. He has been accused of having some links to some alleged criminals, the likes of Vusumuzi Cat Matlanga, and it's been alleged at the commission that he played a central role in dishing out sensitive information to these private individuals which are accused of being members of the underworld. So he's also claimed that there's been political interference in the arrest of Musa Kaula, the social media commentator. So really, he, over his previous testimony, has been shedding light on the alleged links between him and Vusumuzi Cat Matlanga, or between Shadrack Sibiya and Vusumuzi Cat Matlanga. He also claimed that he was the middleman for the two individuals. There was a dinner at Sibiya's house in 2024, and he claimed previously that he's the one who invited Matlanga to Shadrack Sibiya's house for that dinner in 2024. So really, he's been a central figure in connecting the police officials with alleged underworld members such as Vusumuzi Cat Matlanga. Let's take a listen to Advocate Matthew Chaskelson earlier today at the Commission.
Chair and Commissioners, Witness F has been hospitalized and is not available today. There is an application for postponement. The medical certificate on the last page of that application, Annexure I2, records that Witness F will not be available at least until 25th February. We have looked at our calendar, and the earliest available date that we have after 25th February would be 16th March. Now, as things stand, 16th March is the last day of the Commission, but it is the best that we can do at this stage. So we would ask for the appearance of Witness F. Well, Witness F is asking for a postponement, an open-ended postponement. We would ask for that postponement to be pegged to 16 March.
So Witness F asking for an open-ended postponement. Alpha, why has Witness F been at such pains, and what does his or her behavior demonstrate about trying to avoid testifying?
Yeah, well, when you speak to analysts, Mandy, you would know that Witness F has links to Shadrack Sibiya, the suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection. He's admitted that he has been working with Sibiya for quite some time. He's also admitted that he's the middleman between Sibiya and alleged criminals such as Vusumuzi Cat Matlanga for quite some time. So right now, analysts believe that he's trying to postpone his testimony until Shadrack Sibiya, his close ally, testifies before the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. You'd remember that Witness F previously testified at that commission, and some say that he burned Shadrack Sibiya, someone who is very, very close with. So this time around, he, I guess with his sickness or illness that led him to being admitted to hospital, will now testify after Shadrack Sibiya, his close ally. There are suggestions that he could be trying to protect Shadrack Sibiya because he apparently burned him the last time. So it seems that there could be a bigger picture playing in the background.
And finally, we're going to hear from Shadrack Sibiya. This has been much anticipated, but he's now going to, you say on Wednesday, he's going to appear.
Yes, we do expect that on Wednesday, Shadrack Sibiya will appear before the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. Of course, the commission is yet to confirm publicly, but we do know from our people that on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, Shadrack Sibiya will be in the hot seat at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. He's been a key figure in the allegations of police corruption. He's among those who are accused of having links to alleged criminals, people who benefited from irregular SAPS tenders, people who've also been implicated in a number of scandals, such as the looting of the Tembisa Hospital, the likes of Vusumuzi Cat Matlanga. So Shadrack Sibiya has a lot to answer, and we will be seeing from him possibly on Wednesday.
Alpha, thank you very much. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, speaking to us there about Witness F, who has now allegedly, according to documents supplied to the Matlanga inquiry, been hospitalized, so cannot testify. And that now takes us down to the last day of the Matlanga inquiry, when Witness F is supposed to complete their testimony. If ever you saw somebody trying to avoid appearing before an inquiry, this is it. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Parliament will in the coming weeks be presented with a whistleblower protection bill that seeks to address critical gaps in safeguarding those who expose corruption in the country. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the introduction of the bill to Parliament during his State of the Nation address last week. Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mamoloko Kubai says the bill will work in tandem with the Witness Protection Act. 3 suspects charged with the murder of an e-hailing driver have abandoned their bail application in the Pretoria Magistrates Court. Isaac Satlat was hijacked and killed last week by a man and woman who had requested the e-hailing service. The attack was caught on Satlat's dash cam and the footage has been widely circulated online. And the son of struggle icon Fort Kalata has apologized and retracted statements that he has made about politicians during his testimony at the TRC cases inquiry. The inquiry resumed this morning with testimony from Lukhanyo Kalata. His father, Fort Kalata, was part of men known as the Craddock Four, which included Matthew Goniwe, Sparrow Mkhonto and Scelo Mhlauli. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon. I'm Kieran Thompson. We get started in the cricketing world where the Proteas women have the chance to secure a T20 series clean sweep against Pakistan this evening. The sides will square off in the third and final fixture with South Africa leading 2-0 heading into tonight's encounter. Proteas all-rounder Nadine de Klerk says it's all about making improvements and building momentum.
We had a few tough conversations and we knew that we want to be better. So I think it's just about executing on the day. And we also know that, like I said, cricket is a funny game. You're not always going to rock up and execute, but it's about learning from those games and then coming back the next one and try and be better. And we were much better in the second game.
The action gets underway from the Diamond Oval in Kimberley at 6 p.m. Staying with T20 action, but to the Men's World Cup now. A crunch clash is set to unfold in Group B this afternoon as co-hosts Sri Lanka battle Australia, who will want to bounce back from last week's defeat to Zimbabwe. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, can qualify for the Super 8 with a win, with the Proteas, India and the West Indies already confirming their spots. In the footballing world, Arsenal eased into the 5th round of the FA Cup with a 4-0 win over Wigan, with fellow Premier League sides Fulham, Wolves, Leeds United and Sunderland all getting past their tricky assignments. Brentford are away to Macclesfield at 9:30 tonight, with that 5th round draw set to take place this evening as well. And finally, back home in the world of rugby, the 2026 Varsity Cup kicks off in Bloemfontein this afternoon when the UFS Shimlers host Marties at 4:45. The rest of the action kicks off at 7 o'clock as CUT host the Northwest University Eagles, UJ entertain Emirates, and the UCT Ikeys kick off their defence away to Tuks. Kieran Thompson, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour, if you're leaving the Joburg CBD heading towards Riverlea, slow-moving traffic on the M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Also traveling between Sandton and the Joburg CBD. Traffic is a bit sluggish. This is on the M1 southbound between Ethel Oaklands and Killarney Bends. And we still have those roadworks in the Kempton Park area heading towards Edenvale. These roadworks causing heavy delays. R24 westbound between the R21 split and Barbara Road, while in the Mother City, expect some delays. This is on Main Road between Boys Drive and Galt Bay, and also bumper traffic on the M3 southbound between Princess Anne and Newlands Avenue. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
From your pet's bowl
to Belito, bro.
Or Barcelona. Maybe Bordeaux?
How about Brazil?
Or Butts, Betty's, Bavians, Bella Bella, or even Benoni. Buy any Hills pet food and you could win one of 10 holidays worth 200,000 Rand each. Or take the bucks. Scientifically proven formulas for your pet. An adventure for you. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more. T's and C's apply.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a couple stealing glances at each other. In a week, their lives will change forever as they exchange their I-do's. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy. The person that's asking why was this video shared, is he or she living under a rock? Is this person not aware of crowd surfing, the impact of crowd surfing? These people would not have been arrested in the time that they were arrested if it wasn't the power of social media. So videos being shared on social media is very powerful and arrests are very quick. So the question, why was it shared? It's neither here nor there.
Hi, Mandy. Condolences to the family of the e-hailing driver that was murdered in Atteridgeville. I know Izang Ashong. He is a well-known Christian, and I'm sure he was just trying to be politically correct about the fact that he was targeted because he is Nigerian, and most likely because of his accent. And yeah, that's just how things are, unfortunately. Thanks, Farai.
Good day, Mandy. This is Sebi. Just on the issue of the bull driver who was being murdered by these senseless criminals. I hear people keep saying, no, what was a Nigerian doing driving a Bolt in South Africa when South Africans are unemployed? People need to stop parading their ignorance and get themselves informed. These platforms like Uber and Bolt, they do not employ people. You sign up to them. As long as you've got a route with the car and all the documents, you sign up to them as a freelancer. You're a freelancer, you're not being employed. So everybody's welcome to go there. They do not discriminate against anyone. There isn't any employment going on there. No, you're a freelancer. So people must stop parading their ignorance.
Thank you very much for those WhatsApp voice notes. Lots of reaction there to the interview with Solomon Izangashoms, the spokesperson for the family of the e-hailing driver who was killed last week. Thank you very much for sending those messages through.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
The Cape Crime Crisis Coalition has rejected the president's decision to redeploy the SANDF to the Cape Flats. It says that the 2019 deployment, which was called Operation Prosper, had little sustained impact in areas like Mitchell's Plain and Nyanga. There's been a lot of reaction to this since the president announced it. Some have very much been in favour. Gayton McKenzie, for example, I spoke to him after Sona. He was very much in favour of this. Some very much against it as well. One of those is Pierre de Vos, Prof. Pierre de Vos, who's written a very interesting piece today saying South Africans should fear another SANDF deployment. Professor Pierre de Vos, constitutional law expert, joins us now. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. You've looked at both two issues here. The one is the deployment of the SANDF. The other is the vetting that we're now starting to see by the State Security Agency. Both of these, you say, perhaps maybe not such a good thing because of the credibility and the trust relationship the public has with these institutions.
Yes, so there's a long history of events and actions that raise questions about these institutions. I mean, the SANDF, in the column, I refer to what happened during the COVID lockdown when the SANDF was also deployed. And of course, we know about the horrendous abuses that happened. There's the one case of Collins Khoza where members of the SANDF went into his house, accused him of breaking the lockdown regulations, assaulted him, and he died. And then the military refused to take any action, and in the end, an internal disciplinary inquiry found they did nothing wrong. So this this is a South African citizen sitting in his house. It's not even a situation that might occur here in the Cape Flats in a gang infested area where innocent people and gang members are going to be in the same group. So I feel that, so even if this was going to be helpful for the actual law enforcement aspect, which some experts have doubt about, I just think deploying the military, which has shown in the past that they don't really have the discipline, they're not trained to act with minimum force, and also political accountability, they seem to not be very keen of. All of that make it a little bit worrying that people are so happy for them to be deployed against themselves in effect.
On the issue of the State Security Agency, you also look there at what we know about the state of the credibility of the SSA.
Yes, so we know that the Inspector General of Intelligence was supposed to be the civilian oversight mechanism. That person was suspended late last year. We don't know why. We also know the South African security agency doesn't have a director general. There's a long history from the Zuma years that the intelligence services were used for political ends, and they're secretive. So it's fantastic that people will be re-rated, but we're not going to know whether this is done properly, whether it's done with everyone, what the outcome is. All we would know is if there's an announcement of anything that happened there, because what the security, the intelligence services does, it's by its nature secretive. So I worry about the combination of secrecy and the possibility that how the vetting is done might be factional or might be incomplete or might be corrupt or whatever. I'm not sure we will ever know if it was.
It seems as though the president was looking for tangible action points. So by deploying the army, it's very visible, and he's doing something about it. By vetting senior police officers, again, something tangible. Do you think that maybe these are two actions where he could have erred, that we could have looked at alternative solutions?
Well, there is a bigger problem with governance, and that is that the things that really in the long term make a difference are things that slowly but surely you have to change. You have to capacitate, as they sometimes say, the SANDF. You have to ensure that it is accountable to civilian authority. You have to train the soldiers properly. And the same with the intelligence service. You need to make sure it's not a political football, it's competent, all of these things. This takes years to do, and it's not glamorous. So what politicians do, they're going to try and pass a law, or they're going to do something that looks good on TV. But the question is then, will it actually change something? Hopefully, in both cases, I'm wrong, and it really makes a dramatic change. But maybe I'm too cynical, but I'm not sure that it will. Because, as you say, the president was looking for something tangible. These are tangible, but are they wise? Are they going to have the results? That we will have to wait and see.
Prof, thank you so much as always. Professor Pierre de Vos, constitutional law expert. Do you agree there? What is your reaction to the deployment of the army and this decision by state security or the decision by the president to get state security to re-vet senior police officers? Two very tangible actions by the president. Do you think it was a good thing, or do you think that there are concerns?
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
So when I was walking out after the State of the Nation address on Thursday night, we'd finished our live broadcast and we were on our way home, and I saw the Higher Education Minister, Buti Manamela, speaking to a crowd of students. So he had himself gone to address the students from CPUT that had been protesting their very, very heavy police contingent as well. But I was quite impressed that the minister actually went down, left SONA and went to go and speak to these students, and that's because of student accommodation. So we've seen this protest taking place outside SONA because some of these students from CPUT had received eviction notices from the university because of funding shortfalls. So let's find out what the latest is with that. And Ntutuzelo Nene, EWN reporter, joining us now. Ntutuzelo, good afternoon to you. What is the current status of these students?
Good afternoon, Mandy. We've heard from these students on Thursday, as you have mentioned, outside City Hall, after the president delivered the State of the Nation address. But now we spoke to the university itself that is being, accused of all of these things. And CPUT has dismissed, last week's student protest as nothing but a bid for attention by these students. As you have mentioned, Mandy, hundreds of them gathered peacefully outside City Hall on Thursday evening, hoping to draw the attention of the president. And there were several claims that were made by these students, of ongoing accommodation crisis at the institution, raising concerns about poor living conditions and alleging that some were evicted from a private residence that is linked to the university. And as you have mentioned also that the Deputy Minister, Buti Manamela, addressing the crowd and assuring the students that no one will be left without shelter. He did also say that they have been working with CPUT management, the SRC there, and others to ensure that students do not sleep outside. However, when we spoke to CPUT, they're saying that the claims of widespread housing crisis at the university misrepresented the facts, and the protest itself misrepresented the facts. The spokesperson, Lauren Kensley, speaking to us a short while ago and telling us that only a handful of those protesting students were without bed, and even saying that if there were 100 students, at least 5 of the students did not have a bed, and those students were immediately assisted. She's saying that, however, the bigger challenge that they have now involves students who arrive late without approved accommodation and still expect to be placed. She says this is an everyday thing where students just walk up, and demand assistance from the university, so they don't know who is coming and they don't know what to prepare or expect on a daily basis. Saying that they have the largest resident footprint of any university in the country, with 16,200 beds, which are in the campus ecosystem, and an additional 4,000 beds in private accommodation, which can be absorbed by the students who are funded firstly, and by students who are progressing well academically, because there is a rule by NSFAS now that students need to be passing 60% of their subjects in order for them to be accommodated, and this is frustrating some, if not most, of the students at the university. But let's hear what else Lauren Kensley had to say.
Nobody was evicted. And so the disruption of the SONA proceedings, actually, we discussed it at length. On that evening, our Vice-Chancellor, along with the senior leadership team, I was part of that team. We went to the CBD, to town, to try and establish what was happening. So if we were to assume there were 100 students that participated in that sit-in, once we'd actually processed the group and listened to them, everybody, apart from 5, had a bed for that night. So it seemed like an elaborate stunt, certainly to get the attention of us and, of course, DHET as well. But it was by no means a situation where you had 100 students that are homeless. That is not the case at all.
Thanks to Ntutuzelo Nene, EWN reporter, for that update on the CPUT student issue.
The Checkers Extravaganza is now on, with over 1,500 deals every week. Like Sir Fruit Juice 1.5 litre, any 2 for 89 Rand. Dower Egbert's Instant Coffee 200 grams for 169.99. And a Platinum Digital Air Fryer 6.6 litre for 799 Rand. Save 200 Rand. Valid until 22 February 2026. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
On average, you'll spend 83,200 hours working. That's 3,466 days. 20% of that time will be spent in meetings that should have been emails. 10% spent aligning on the misalignment the previous meeting caused. And the rest of the time, waiting for your laptop to update so you can resend that extremely urgent presentation due yesterday because your boss forgot to download it 2 weeks ago. And now, the link has expired. Oh, life taxes you. So invest tax-free from as little as 250 Rand per month.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
This message is brought to you by Eskom, redefining for a better future.
Hey South Africa, want to keep your lights on and save money? Let's use electricity wisely. It's easier than you think. Switch off lights when you leave a room, unplug chargers and appliances, and use energy-saving bulbs. They last longer and use less power. Every little bit helps for your home, your wallet, and our planet.
Let's make it a habit and use electricity wisely. Eskom.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy. Great show. Regarding the deployment of the SANDF, I'm just frustrated that every time that we speak about deploying the army, there will be experts or public, outcry that will say, oh, based on their records, they are this, they are that. The record of the SANDF compared to the SAPS right now, it's the SAPS is horrible. Why don't we now have the same experts calling out and saying, let's remove the police? Why don't we say that? Instead, every time that the president does something, we have something against it. When nothing is done, we also complain. So I just don't know what needs to be done. This is Simon in Midday Report.
Mandy, I was listening to your interview now about the SANDF deployment and the climate and hotspots. And what Professor De Vos is saying is probably right. But the people in that area are crying out for, begging for more visible policing. And if the SANDF is the only way we can actually increase the amount of assistance there, then that's the way it should be. It's just... unless he's got some other magical formula, unfortunately, this is probably the best thing that we have at the moment.
I think it's a brilliant idea that finally the army that we're paying salaries for every month actually do something. And the crime rate is out of control, so it's about time. I don't know why it took so long for them to actually step in.
Isn't that the South African affliction, though? We complain no matter what decision is made. If they deploy the army, we complain. If he didn't deploy the army, we would complain. Everybody's got a view. At least you get to air them here.
Sports Wrap.
Sports Wrap
on 702 and Cape Talk.
Lots of sports taking place this weekend. I watched way more cricket than I probably should have. The Proteas winning against New Zealand in the T20 World Cup. Well, let's get a wrap on all of that sport that took place this weekend with Kieran Thompson, EWN Sports anchor. Kieran, good afternoon to you. Let's start with the Proteas and their performance at the weekend.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Wow, the Proteas just going from strength to strength at the T20 World Cup. So far, winning 3 out of 3, and we've also shown different ways of winning. I can do without the double super over that we had against Afghanistan. While it was nice and entertaining and what you want to see, or what neutrals would want to see, my fingernails and nerves can't handle another one of those.
Oh, you and me both. It was so stressful. I was trying to prepare for a radio show watching that.
Same.
So we're pretty much through, hey?
Yes, that is correct. So because we beat New Zealand, let me try and be a bit more balanced and neutral. Because the Proteas beat New Zealand on Saturday, that means that South Africa actually became the first team to qualify for the Super 8. So 6 is the magic number during these pool stages. So since South Africa's win on Saturday, South Africa have been joined by India, West Indies, and potentially Sri Lanka today in the Super 8s, qualifying for the Super 8s. So it's the top 2 teams from each of the 4 pools that will go through, and South Africa have already done the business. So I expect to see some rotations when South Africa come up against the UAE and... Oh, just the UAE. That's their last game.
Yeah, it's our last game, yeah. Their last game.
So it's starting to shape up quite nicely, and Australia losing to Zimbabwe just makes things so much more.
Yeah, there's a chance that Australia may not go through, hey?
Things you love to see, but whether or not that happens, the Aussies always have a way of just pulling it over the line, especially at big World Cups.
The Proteas women, I also watched their game at Willamore Park at the weekend against Pakistan. They've been impressive.
No, they've been seriously impressive under the new coach Mandla Mashimbi. Having a player like Tane Fanike come back into the fold, players are all starting to really understand their roles, and they're gaining quite a bit of momentum ahead of the Women's T20 World Cup that takes place in Wales and England in June later this year. So we know that this series against Pakistan is all about just working on combinations, getting some momentum, and winning momentum heading into a World Cup is never a bad thing. But also, just like the men's team, they've also found different ways to win. The match in Willamore Park the other night on Friday was threatened to be rained out. And normally South Africa don't have very good luck when it comes to Duckworth, Lewis and rain-affected matches, but the girls really dug in, rolled their sleeves up and got that win over the line as well.
And Kieran, how good have Italy been in the Six Nations so far?
They have been seriously impressive. One of the surprise packages of the Six Nations, if you will. Scotland also right up there. I just think Italy will always punch above their weight when it comes to France, or the likes of France, England and Ireland. But Italy have come on in leaps and bounds over the last few years. They'll always be a dark horse during the Six Nations, but after England's slip up on Saturday against Scotland, it looks like Scotland are serious about the season's campaign.
And then FA Cup this weekend.
Yeah, that was. I would say there wasn't too many FA Cup surprises like we are used to seeing. The vast majority of the big boys that are still in the competition going through, that being Chelsea. Arsenal were pretty much qualified for the first round after half an hour, or before half an hour yesterday against Wigan. You have the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City, as well Newcastle United, who want to continue the trend of winning silverware like they did last year for the first time in over 50 years. So it's going to be, I think it's another big boy or big team, if you will, traditional big team in England that will probably end up lifting that FA Cup come May.
Kieran, thank you so much. Kieran Thompson, EWN Sports Anchor, wrapping up the weekend sport for us.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a family driving to their new home, carrying boxes stacked with plates and toys and memories. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a new beginning, a fresh start on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Today's forecast is calm conditions inside your Mazda CX-5. It'll be warm, so likely your cabin chills before you even ask. Patches of scattered traffic, but with heads-up display and lane keep assist, you'll feel like you're alone on the road. Clouds this evening, perfect for that Bose sound system. And later, skin tingles as you take that curve a little too beautifully. The feeling will find you in the Mazda CX-5. Wonder awaits.
This is financial year end. This is financial year end supercharged with the help of Zero Small Business Accounting software. Try Zero free for 30 days. Terms apply. Search Zero with an X.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy, Solly here. I just want to extend my hand of gratitude and condolences to this family, especially to this man who've just spoken to you, Solomon, who seems so gracious and so generous, so understanding that it's not a moment to take advantage of potential xenophobia, hatred of foreigners. He's reaching out. He's even acknowledging that many of the people who contributed to his fundraising are South African. I really hope that people get to a point where violence is not the way to deal with these things. Of course, there's separate generic violence targeted at Uber drivers and others like them, but there's also the xenophobic tendency of some people in South Africa. And I think that we should all hold hands together to fight against both forms of violence. This man spoke really well. I thank him.
So dignified and gracious. That's what I thought about that interview as well. When a family is mourning such a tragedy that's so visible for all to see, to have so much grace in the moment. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that WhatsApp voice note and for sending it through. Well, thank you very much for listening today. It is 1 o'clock. Time for Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
Whistleblower protection bill to be presented to Parliament soon, and e-hailing driver murder suspects abandon their bid for bail. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Parliament will in the coming weeks be presented with a whistleblower protection bill that seeks to address critical gaps in safeguarding those who expose corruption in the country. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the introduction of the bill to Parliament during his State of the Nation address last week. Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Matlanga introduction of the bill to Parliament during his State of the Nation address last week. Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Matlanga says the bill will work in tandem with the Witness Protection Act. Gubai outlines some of what the new bill will entail.
What the bill then says is that you have 5 days to act on that. If you don't, you must tell the person that has blown the whistle why you are not acting. If you are referring the matter, you must refer that matter within 5 days.
She says a judge will oversee each complaint.
There will be a judge who plays an oversight role that the complainant can go to say, Minister Kubai was given a whistleblower information to protect the state. She did not act, and therefore consequences will follow from that point.
3 suspects charged with the murder of an e-hailing driver have abandoned their bail application in the Pretoria Magistrates Court today. Isaac Satlat was hijacked and killed last week by a man and a woman who had requested his e-hailing service. The attack was caught on Satlat's dash cam, and the video has been widely circulated online. Thandluhle Ngcobo reports.
Dikeleti Mphela, Hosiana Mashidi and McLaren Mushwana appeared briefly before the Pretoria Magistrates